at Chris and on air, you'll see some of my reels, and you can notice in the view count how different the disparity is when I mention Trump in the caption or I don't. So we've been messing with the algorithm behind the scenes, myself and Mason, trying to tickle the algo, if you will. It's a tickle war, and we got to win. So we started doing things like, hey, vote for Kamala Harris, and that didn't really work.
Yeah, and then yesterday I went. It was like a little chant of like, Kamala, Kamala, Kamila.
Also didn't help.
No, not at all.
So today we're trying something completely out of left field. What's the name of the stream today?
Watch this video to see Chris Hand teach you how to change your oil in your Ford F-150.
Perfect.
Because everybody needs help.
We're not actually going to do that, but we're trying
maybe.
We're trying to figure out how to win this tickle war against the algorithm.
Yeah, we want to come out on top, and car self-help videos seem to be driving.
Have you seen that on Instagram, though? Like,
Dude,
if you go in your search page and follow me on Instagram if you're there, at Chris and on air.
Every caption I see has something to do with the full listing of a make and model and what year it was made and all that stuff, and how to repair vehicles on there.
These guys have, like, cracked the code.
It's wild.
You get more views if you do car self-help. So
we'll see what happens.
If you want to learn how to change the oil in your 1987 Ford F-150, watch the show.
Yeah, tomorrow we might be working on a Mercedes-Benz S-Class.
I think we may win the award for the dumbest episode titles. Like, Murphy crushes it. He always has like a funny title. We can't replicate that. So we're trying to do something different here.
Yeah.
And if you want to learn how to change your oil on a Ford F-150, watch us on Super Talk TV. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all the things.
The information will be dropped at the base of the video throughout the 3 hours.
Exactly. So maybe, hey, we'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We're fighting against an algorithm. We're up against a machine here at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You can listen to us wherever you go on iHeartRadio or tune in. Podcasts are always available after the fact. Mason does a great job posting the podcasts live in real time, which are available on Apple, Spotify, and the 99.7 WTN app. We begin today talking about the massive rally that Donald Trump had last night in Long Island, New York. If you remember from the debate, Kamala Harris says, nobody comes to Trump's rallies. People get so bored. They get so bored, they leave early.
What you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you.
All right. Do you remember that from the debate? Which is just, what a joke. I've been to a few Trump rallies, and I've never seen anyone leave early. Never. Not until Trump is off the stage do people leave. And yesterday, she says, people leave early. They don't show up. They're bored. Yesterday, even in the lead up to the rally in Long Island, they had 60,000 tickets reserved. People were waiting outside all night long. Even local news in Long Island was forced to cover this massive crowd.
Told that folks began arriving here overnight. The Nassau Coliseum holds about 16,000 people. We are told by the campaign, I presume, that more than 60,000 tickets have been issued to this event. The seating inside is on a first-come, first-served basis. So you see all these folks on the front plaza here of the Nassau Coliseum, and they are waiting in line to get inside. The doors here don't open until 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're told that the program doesn't begin until 4:30, and Donald Trump won't speak until around 7 o'clock. So these people will be waiting for quite some time. When we first got overhead about 45 minutes ago, the crowd was pretty much confined to this area. We're now seeing this line stretch out and around the building. What are we going to do with all these extra people, you ask? We are told that there will be screens set up in the parking lot for the overflow crowd. Those 60,000 people that won't be able to get inside can watch outside on the screens.
So they have an overflow crowd that is larger than most Kamala Harris rallies. Kamala Harris tonight, she's actually holding a virtual rally in Michigan with Oprah, which I hear this and I think, what are you doing? Honestly, why would you just say you're holding a virtual rally instead of just doing an interview with Oprah on YouTube or some huge, massive platform where you're actually going to get more eyeballs? Right? Why would Why would you do it that way? It makes no sense to me. And virtual rallies, what are we in the middle of a pandemic? Hey guys, nobody cares about COVID anymore. Clowns, absolute clowns. I'll tell you why they did a virtual rally, because they're worried. They're worried they wouldn't be able to get anybody there in Michigan for Kamala Harris and Oprah. We're going to do a virtual rally. Clowns, absolute clowns. Has Trump done any virtual rallies? A virtual rally in the year of 2024? No. No. Trump was all over the place yesterday. He was on Gutfeld. He did the rally in Long Island, and the guy's just an absolute animal. An absolute animal. He can't be stopped. And you know what? He gets on stage, and one of the first things that he says is, listen, I think I can win New York. And I'll tell you what, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Is it an uphill battle? Absolutely, it's an uphill battle. But when you think about what's happening in New York, how they've been dealing with this illegal migrant crisis, when they've been dealing with rampant crime, grocery prices through the roof, rent prices way up, why wouldn't New York be in play? Why wouldn't it? You see what he did in the Bronx. Now he's in Long Island, and he has a massive crowd, and Trump thinks he can win New York. You know what? It's going to be hard to win New York. But I like a guy that likes his chances no matter what.
And I'm thrilled to be back in the state I love with thousands of proud, patriotic New Yorkers who are really the heart and soul of America. We know that. And the reason I'm here is because it hasn't been done in many decades. It hasn't been done for a long time. But we are going to win New York.
You have to admire the man's confidence. You have to admire his fight and his willingness to go in what is everybody tells you is a blue state that he has no chance of winning, and at least trying this. You know, I love the fight. I love that Trump has that dog in him. No Haitian jokes allowed. But I love that he's got that dog in him. I do. And he's there in Long Island, and he says, I have a message for Kamala.
Let me also deliver a message straight to Kamala Harris. Have you heard of her?
Have you heard of her? Do you know who she is?
Who, by the way, was just rated by far the most liberal senator in the U.S. Senate, more so even further left than Bernie Sanders and Pocahontas. Pocahontas. She's more so. Elizabeth Warren, she's more left than Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. Let me also deliver a message straight to Kamala Harris, the radical left Democrat politicians, and the fake news media. Look how many are there.
I love that he brings up her 2019 senator ranking as the most liberal. You have to repeat this over and over and over again. When I was in music radio, they say when you get sick of a song, the audience is just getting used to it. And you have to drive these points home. 2019 was not that long ago. They want to make you think it is, but it wasn't.
We've got to get our media back in this country. We've got to get them back.
I love that he goes after the media. You have to. You have to.
But the message is it's time to stop the lies, stop the hoaxes, stop the smears, stop the lawfare or the fake lawsuits against me, and stop claiming your opponents will turn America into a dictatorship. Give me a break. Because the fact is that I'm not a threat to democracy. They are.
Yeah, honestly. Hey, have you seen this video that's been resurfacing of Kamala Harris? You talk about reminding the audience how radical she is. This video is just resurfaced of Kamala Harris back in the day when she was a senator. And somebody explained to her what the Fourth Amendment is after you hear this, but she says that it would actually be... it's the government's job to go into your home and make sure that you're handling your guns properly. She actually said this on video.
Responsible behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Oh, is that so? Well, I'll tell you what, that may be the last home you walk into with law-abiding Americans. I don't think they're going to take that too kindly. And I wouldn't put police in that position, and I wouldn't put anybody in that position. It's not going to end well. You're going to go into somebody's locked home to make sure that they're being responsible with their guns. This is how radical this woman is. She tries to distance herself from these positions, but let's be honest, she's just hiding her true thoughts and intentions. I mean, this is the woman that went on the debate, says, I'm a gun owner, and then the next day posts on Twitter, ban assault weapons. Like, what? What? These things are not the same. You have to remind people how radical she is, and Trump does a good job of that. He does. And you talk about the threat to democracy that they paint Donald Trump as. Well, there's only one political candidate who continually has shots flying his way. There's only one guy whose life is continually threatened. And it's Trump. It's Trump. He talked about that assassination attempt that happened at the golf course yesterday at the rally in New York. And this is what he had to say.
3 days ago, there was yet another assassination attempt on my life. I didn't know I was going to say that. It was the second one in 8 weeks by a violent radical left mobster. This evil would-be assassin got within a few hundred yards of where I stood, but thankfully, our outstanding Secret Service agent, and they are outstanding, spotted the barrel of his rifle in the bushes. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? He saw a barrel of a big, this was a big barrel. This you don't want to even talk about, AK-47. But he saw the barrel coming out a little bit out of the very lush bushes, and he took fast action to stop the gunman before I even entered the line of sight. And I want to express my thanks to the U.S. Secret Service, who was there that day, and to all of the sheriffs and law enforcement down in Florida, the heroes who helped to apprehend the attacker. And
yeah, you got to praise the guys that were there. I think you can also be critical of the fact that this even got as far as it did. Where were the drones? Where was the perimeter sweep? Non-existent, right? Why was he able to be there for 12 hours sitting in the bushes? But I understand Trump can't just go on a tirade against the Secret Service and their lack of protection in those areas, because, he still kind of needs them. He needs them big time. He also praised another person at the rally in regards to the assassination attempt and her role in helping apprehend that would-be assassin. We'll bring you that on the way. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Up ahead, we'll tell you about the discovery made at a new construction property in Wilson County. Those stories coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, looking forward to that. Joan Jones and the news on the way. It's 9:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I'll do my best to follow back as long as you don't look like a Russian bot. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
They're just trying to get you more viewers. That's what they're always selling.
Yeah, it's either Russian bots or liberals accusing me of being a Russian. That's what we get. That's what we get. Donald Trump at his rally last night in Long Island, New York. He thanked Secret Service, and you can thank the rank and file of Secret Service for stopping that assassination attempt, but you can also point at the obvious failures, not sweeping the perimeter, not using drones. You can point at some glaring red flags like this guy's ties to Ukraine, how they had him on their radar. He was on the radar. U.S. Homeland Security, they had a report about him in 2023. There are people that say that all he did was talk about assassinations. He was on some agency's radar in 2019. Like a lot of drop balls there, a lot. But Trump praised the rank and file, and he should. He should. I mean, that guy was out there in front, taking shots at the would-be assassin, thwarting that attempt. But there was one civilian outside that golf course that really saved the day, because this guy had an escape plan, and for all intents and purposes, without this eyewitness snapping photos, he would have got away. Seriously, there is a realistic possibility that we wouldn't have known anything about him, and he would have been at large without this woman snapping photos of his vehicle. And Donald Trump recognizes that, and he praises her last night in Long Island, New York.
No, but think of this. This could only happen with a woman because men aren't smart enough. I hate to tell you, fellas. So
he knows.
He dropped his gun. His car was a block away, and he started running because they had him. And he was running. And a woman driving a car innocently said, "He looks like a bad person to me. He looks very suspicious." And she followed him and pulled up to the back of the car and started taking pictures of his license plate. Can you believe that?
It's incredible. It's incredible. I love the way it goes. Guys, it only could have been a woman. I heard you chime in, Joan. He knows.
He does know.
He knows.
He knows which side of the bread his butter. No, how does that go?
Which side of the bread to butter?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And she took the pictures of his license plate, perfect, beautiful pictures like a professional photographer, and sent them to the sheriff and said, "I just looked at a man. There was something strange going on. Who the hell would do that?" Right? Only a woman. Only a woman. Well, now I asked the sheriff today, I said, "So, Sheriff, if you had 1,000 events, how many people would have done that? Man or woman, how many people would have done that? Followed him, taken pictures of the license plate and also the type of truck that he was driving?" He said, "Maybe none." So she's a hero. I got to meet her. And because of that, they were then able to catch him in a very speedy drive down the various highways in Florida, but they got him, and they got him fast. But I think it's incredible. So the agent and that wonderful woman, and with all of my heart, I thank you all for your incredible valor. What you've done is incredible. What the people of our country and law enforcement does in this country is incredible.
He's not wrong. It absolutely is incredible. He has a lot more to say, including about the Teamsters endorsement. Have you heard about the Teamsters endorsement or non-endorsement? I guess it depends on which way you look at it, but Donald Trump has a lot to say about it. We'll cover that after the news with Joan Jones on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
9:30 now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We're headed to 91 sizzling degrees today. More with the forecast coming up in a moment. After this week's explosions of terrorist pagers and walkie-talkies in Lebanon, some are asking, can it happen here? Homeland Security official Elizabeth Newman thinks not.
A law was passed to actually strengthen our supply chain to make sure that secondary and tertiary sources that go up to that main manufacturer are known, that they're not coming from a nefarious source like a country that we don't trust, and that they can't be intercepted.
And she adds, we have good checks on our supply chain in place. Well, with just weeks away from the election, the FBI revealing yesterday a group of Iranian hackers stole information from Trump campaign and sent it to people associated with the Democrats.
Investigators say the emails were unsolicited and there's no evidence Biden staffers replied to them. The Harris campaign says the emails were received by only a few people who dismissed them as spam or phishing attempts. Trump responding at a rally in New York last night.
They gave them all of the materials because Biden is working with Iran, and Iran doesn't exactly like me.
ABC's Lionel Moisey. Human remains uncovered at a Wilson County property. The discovery came during a search for 23-year-old Blanca Oriana, who went missing from her Antioch home in August. Now, police are not connecting the remains to Oriana just yet, and they're not saying why they decided to search the new construction property on Burnt House Road in the search for that young woman. Well, it'll take a while for the Fed's interest rate cuts to show up in mortgage rates, but a report today on home sales showed home sales across the country fell in August to the slowest annual pace in nearly a year. Home prices, well, they're up for the 14th consecutive month, rising more than 3%. That's the latest news. Weather is just ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Earlier today, I was honored to receive the endorsement of the rank and file membership of the Teamsters. I love the Teamsters. They delivered all that concrete for those buildings I built in New York. They delivered the big, heavy, most beautiful trucks you've ever seen. They delivered the concrete in all those buildings I built in New York. But, you know, this hasn't happened in so many decades. We won the overwhelming majority of the local chapters and the members, and as a result, the national organization has refused to endorse the Democrat candidate for the first time in many, many decades.
That's Donald Trump on the lack of a Teamsters union endorsement for Kamala Harris. They didn't technically endorse him either, but they did some internal polling, and the 1.3 million members of the Teamsters union overwhelmingly back Donald Trump. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I'll follow back. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. If you remember, the union leader, Sean O'Brien, spoke at the Republican convention. And normally the unions are full-on Democrat. Full-on. So the lack of an endorsement for Kamala Harris it's actually a pretty big blow to the Democrat Party. A huge blow. I mean, Joe Biden had the support of Teamsters voting in straw polls at local unions between April and July prior to his exit from the race. They just can't get behind Kamala Harris at all. And in independent electronic and phone polling from July to September, majority of voting members selected Trump for the possible Teamsters endorsement over Harris. The rank and file like Trump. That's wild, man. It's wild. The Teamsters union president, Sean O'Brien, was on Fox News, and he was talking about this non-endorsement, the lack of an endorsement, and he says, guys, it's just, we had to do it, or not do it, I guess. He was talking with Neil Cavuto, and this is big news. Big news. But Neil Cavuto asked him, okay, well, why not? Why not endorse Donald Trump? If your members like him, 2/3, I think it was like 60-something%, want Trump. Why not just endorse Donald Trump?
That's why I'm a little surprised by this news today that the Teamsters will not be officially endorsing a presidential candidate. So I thought to myself, Neil, when you talk to Sean, ask him how a guy who was invited to speak before Republicans at their convention but didn't get the same honor at the Democratic convention could decide not to support the Republican nominee. And here he is, Sean O'Brien. Good to have you, Sean. Why not? Why not Donald Trump?
Sir. Well, listen, we interviewed both candidates, and we were seeking commitments from both candidates, and we couldn't get solid commitments on our core issues like the PRO Act, like veto and national right to work, like staying out of labor disputes and not trying to force any contracts on us, like what happened to our brothers and sisters in the rail industry. We didn't get solid commitments from either candidate, which was a major factor in our decision as a General Executive Board not to endorse any candidate.
Said we didn't get the promises from either candidate that we wanted. I mean, maybe that's part of it. Sean Davis of the Federalist had another idea. He said on Twitter that they're worried about blowback if they did endorse Trump and Harris won. That's what he said. He said that they're actually refusing to endorse either because if Kamala Harris wins, well, it could be bad for the Teamsters union. It's an interesting take. I believe it. Don't you? Donald Trump had more reaction on this while he was just walking around the streets of New York. He was in it looked like a burger bar. They asked him for his first reaction to the Teamsters union, and this is what he said.
Mr. President, any reaction to the Teamsters decision not to endorse?
No, they were. It's a great honor. They're not going to endorse the Democrats. That's a big thing. And this is the first time in, I guess, 50, 60 years that that's happened. Democrats automatically have the Teamsters. They took a vote, and I guess I was at 60% or more, and that's a great honor. I mean, it's really, I've had a lot of Teamsters work for me, a lot of the concrete trucks that built all these buildings that you see in New York City, the Teamsters, exclusively Teamsters, I have to say. They've done a great job, but the vote of the Teamsters themselves was very high for me, and the leadership, Sean O'Brien and the group, who are great people, they said we can't endorse the Democrats. So I think this is the first time in many decades that they haven't endorsed Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal that they didn't endorse Kamala Harris. And in the polling, Trump had about 60%. Kamala Harris was around 30%. I mean, he spanked her in the polling with the Teamsters Union. Sean Davis of the Federalist said, understand what's happening with the Teamsters. The members all want Donald Trump, but the leadership knows it can't officially endorse Trump without putting the entire organization at risk due to the bloodlust of the Democrat Party at every level in blue states where the Teamsters are most prevalent. So how to deal with that? You announce official neutrality while simultaneously releasing a poll that shows your members love Trump and hate Kamala Harris. And that Harris poll is significantly worse than Biden, who is deposed by Democrats. That's how you do it. That's how you play it safe and let people know exactly what time it is. Trump was asked, does this make a difference in the election? And Trump says, yeah, it will. Specifically the Rust Belt.
Big difference in those big industrial states, you think? They're going to make a difference?
I think it will, yeah, I think so. The Teamsters carry a lot of weight. The Democrats cannot believe that. And, look, this is, it was always automatic that Democrats get the Teamsters, and they said we won't endorse the Democrats this year. So that was an honor for me.
It's an honor, he says. I mean, but think about the ripple effect out. 1.3 million members. Think about their families, their friends. The ripple, that's the pebble in the water, the 1.3 million. But the ripple out is massive. Massive. So yeah, they didn't go for Kamala Harris. Not a fan, if you will. Not a fan of Harris. Now, this union is more conservative than other unions that align with Democrats, but they haven't backed a Republican since 88. Whoa. This essentially is an endorsement of Donald Trump. They'll try and spin it on the mainstream media, or they'll just completely ignore it, whichever is more convenient. But this is a win for Donald Trump. And this is why he brought it up last night at his rally in Long Island, the Teamsters Union, and essentially endorsing him by not endorsing Kamala Harris. And he even thanked the Teamsters Union president, Sean O'Brien, while he was there in Long Island.
Earlier today, I was honored to receive the endorsement of the rank and file membership of the Teamsters. I love the Teamsters. They delivered all that concrete for those buildings I built in New York. They delivered the big, heavy, most beautiful trucks you've ever seen. They delivered the concrete in all those buildings I built in New York. But, this hasn't happened in so many decades. We won the overwhelming majority of the local chapters and the members, and as a result, the national organization has refused to endorse the Democrat candidate for the first time in many, many decades.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. But how could you endorse Kamala Harris? How can you endorse open borders, rampant inflation, massive crime increases? How can you bring yourself to do that? How can you endorse anyone on the left currently? Especially if you love this country, you're hardworking patriots. How can you bring yourself to vote for that? And Trump made the point last night that the left has made us a third world nation under their leadership.
And I also want to thank Teamsters President Sean O'Brien, amazing man.
Sorry about that. That's the endorsement to where he's thanking Sean O'Brien. This is the left.
They're doing things in politics that have never been done before in the history of our country. And worst of all, with their open borders and bad elections, they have made us into a third world nation, something which nobody thought was even possible. Americans deserve a campaign based on the issues. We try and keep it on the issues. And God has now spared my life. It must have been God. Thank you.
He has this moment where he says, God has spared my life, and he looks to the sky, and it's a powerful moment. And he says, not once, but twice.
Not once, but twice. And there are those that say he did it because Trump is going to turn this state around. He's going to turn this country around. He's going to make America great again. And maybe. And we're going to bring back religion into our country.
Lord knows we need it. Lord knows we need it. I mean, at the end of the day, an elected official is only going to be able to do so much in this country. There's only one real way to save it, and I believe it's through Jesus Christ and actual redemption. But, you look at what Trump is doing and how he's embracing religion after the assassination attempts, and it's as a Christian, I love it. I really do. It's almost like a red-pilled moment for atheists when they look and you see what happened where the bullet grazes his ear. How can you say it's anything other than divine intervention? So I'm here for those moments. I'm here for it when Donald Trump says, God spared my life. I am. I don't think that I can't explain it any other way. I can't. How else do you explain that? How else do you explain that? So I like that. I think that when you become more of a Christian, you kind of have those like light bulb moments where you're like, whoa, that's a God thing. And as you go through your journey in faith, you have those light bulb moments more and more and more. And when I saw Trump look to the sky like that, it just like, I was like, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Granted, I haven't survived an assassination attempt, so maybe it's not on that scale. But I've had those light bulb moments where it's like, whoa, that's a God thing. And I saw him look to the sky there, and it was like, oh, I know that feel. I know that feel. And I love that he's embracing it and bringing it with him on the campaign trail. I do. I do. He also says, listen, the near-death encounters have only made him stronger.
These encounters with death have not broken my will. They have really given me a much bigger and stronger mission. They've only hardened my resolve to use my time on earth to make America great again for all Americans, to put America first. Going to put America first.
And I believe him when he says it. We got more from Trump's rally in Long Island on the way. He's got a lot more to say, this guy. He's got a lot more to say. And he says to the people of New York, why not vote for me? What do you have to lose? I love this argument. And I'm going to play it for you next. Hang out with us. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. In the meantime, I got to tell you about my friends at United Structural Systems. If you're having foundation issues in your home, if you're having waterproofing issues, if you got a sinkhole on your property that you're tired of staring at, call the experts. Call United Structural Systems. Now, look for some warning signs today. Walk around your home if you have an opportunity to, and see if you can find these red flags. Are you noticing cracks in your foundation? Sinking patio steps? I mean, these could all be signs of foundation issues. It could also be nothing. But you want to talk to somebody that knows what they're doing. And United Structural Systems have been doing this since 1994. They'll tell you it's nothing, or they'll tell you a detailed plan on how to fix it. But you got to call them first to get the ball rolling. USS is your expert in this arena. They have 25,000 satisfied customers. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. Whether it's foundation repair, waterproofing, sinkholes that you need gone, or mold with that waterproofing issues, they do it all. Call USS today, 615-488-7855, online at USSTN.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Up ahead, we've got the latest on a disrupted plot to kill Israel's prime minister. And a hospital janitor is in trouble for what he did in a bathroom. Those stories coming up at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. All right, so on the way, I'm going to talk about what Donald Trump said to New Yorkers. What do you have to lose? I'll get to that real quick, but there was a text that caught my attention. And I love this guy, Brian. He texted this in. He wasn't rude or anything like that, but this is what he said. He said, Trump and J.D. Vance are still okay with abortion and the abortion pill. Sorry, man. As a Christian, I'm struggling with backing that. Either we're against abortion full stop or we're not. Abortion for rape and incest and life of the mother is still abortion. Not judging, just struggling with this one and being honest about it. And I said, hey, man, I get where you're coming from. As a Christian, I do. But my argument is, did we get to where we are in America overnight with abortion? No. Are we going to fix it in America overnight? No. We need a guy that's going to help us move the chains down the field. And Donald Trump is the guy moving the chains down the field. He's the guy that put those Supreme Court justices in their chair, right? He's the first sitting president to attend the March for Life rally. That's Donald Trump. So I hear where you're at as a Christian, but we have to understand that we got to take small wins on our way to an ultimate goal. So I hear where you're at, but the other side is abortion on demand. The other side is post-birth abortion. So which way, Western man? Which way, Christians? I think the choice is easy. On the way, we'll get back to Donald Trump in Long Island, his message for New Yorkers, plus another union coming out in support of Donald Trump. Hang out with us. It's 10:01 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. 91 degrees for a high. Stick around for the forecast next. Authorities in Israel say they've arrested an elderly man with ties to Iran who's accused of plotting to kill senior Israeli leaders, including the prime minister.
They believe this was an Iranian plot and that he was recruited by Iranian intelligence and was even smuggled twice to Iran and reportedly received money for attending a few of the meetings. He also demanded $1 million up front before carrying out the plot. The statement also points out that he was arrested last month in August.
ABC's Lama Hassan reporting from London. In Hermitage, a piece of property that used to be a disgrace.
People just sit in the middle of the day and be shooting up.
Feces, urine, vomit, blood, used medical supplies like needles to inject drugs.
That's slated to be turned now into a recycling convenience center. At the start of 2024, Metro found a new home for the homeless community that was there. Now, Councilman Jordan Huffman tells News 2 it's about to get a remake.
It's turning lemons into lemonade, essentially.
It may be good news for people living on the east side of Davidson County. Hermitage lost its recycling convenience center several years ago due to an issue with the lease, forcing residents to drive much farther to neighboring districts to recycle. A janitor at TriStar Hospital in Hermitage has been arrested after filming a woman in the bathroom.
The female executive reported entering the restroom near the hospital lobby, going into a stall when she heard the door open a few seconds later, and then saw a phone slide over from an adjacent stall and someone shouted, "I see you." Surveillance footage shows 25-year-old Dizelle White with his cleaning cart outside the women's restroom, and officers observed him enter right after the victim, according to their report. White was arrested and charged with unlawful photography. Police say he admitted to, quote, doing something inappropriate. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Stocks are way up again. Dow Jones Industrials 389, NASDAQ is up 423, and the S&P 500 index gaining 86 points. That's the latest news. Weather still to come. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button, I'll follow back. Donald Trump last night in New York saying to New Yorkers, guys, what do you have to lose?
And so I say to the people of New York, with crime at record levels, with terrorists and criminals pouring in, and with inflation eating your hearts out, vote for Donald Trump. What the hell do you have to lose? What do you have to lose?
Honestly, what do you have to lose? It's funny because I've told this story a couple times, but when I lived in Detroit, my wife has some family there, and great people, love them to death. Democrats, liberals. And that's okay. That's okay. You can't pick your family. Awesome people. But I remember sitting there one day, and we were talking about the city of Detroit, which had been under Democrat rule for decades. And I said, well, why wouldn't you try the other side? Well, why wouldn't you? And nothing's gotten better with Democrats in control. It's only gotten worse. What do you have to lose? Then they looked at me like I was crazy. They did. And that's okay. That's okay. But I understand that argument. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Rent in urban areas right now. Rent in urban areas is up, 23% in under Biden-Harris? 23%. What do you have to lose? Honestly. Trump explains what you get if you vote for him.
And if you vote for me, I'm going to reduce your taxes, reduce your crime, and reduce your levels of stress, because you have a lot of stress. The only thing that I will increase are your incomes, and your love for your state will come roaring back again.
I mean, listen, it's a pretty good deal. It sounds like a pretty good deal to me. You know? And we've witnessed across the country the fall of major cities under Biden and Harris. You know, you look at San Francisco, you look at Minneapolis, you look at Detroit, you look at all these major cities under Democrat control. We've seen them decline dramatically under Democrat rule. Detroit used to be called Paris of the Midwest. It was a booming economy. Under Democrat rule, they've lost so much. And Trump makes that point last night. We've witnessed the fall.
But look at what has happened to New York and the other states, all run by radical left Democrats, every single one of them. Our heavy industries have exported overseas, and our middle class has been eviscerated, right here at home, been eviscerated. Housing costs are out of control. Inflation has cost a typical family $28,000. Think of it, in less than 4 years, $28,000.
What could you do with $28,000? Seriously. Imagine if you had that money back.
And we filthy encampments. We have horrible, disgusting, dangerous, filthy encampments.
I was driving in today. Nashville, that's run by Democrats, right? Asking for a friend. How many highway overpasses do you look and see the mattresses and the blankets hanging and the trash strewn about? I see it so often. Every day on my drive in, I see these encampments under the overpasses. Why?
Of junkies and homeless people living in places that our children used to play Little League Baseball, which they don't get to play very much anymore, do they? Over the past 3 years in New York City, there has been a 29% increase in robbery, a 36% increase in felony assault, a 42% increase in grand larceny, a 75% increase in carjackings. Did you buy a nice car lately? Well, 200 police officers leave the NYPD, New York's finest. I always say I knew it well. New York's finest. They leave every single month, 200 people a month. Incredible people.
That's police stations all across the country. And I've made the point before. It's like, I probably wouldn't encourage my kids to be cops. Not in today's day and age. What, so you can get demonized when a convicted felon overdoses on fentanyl and then you get sentenced to prison for doing your job? Yeah, looking at you, George.
They're incredible people. The trains and subways are squalid and unsafe. The median of our highway, all those medians, they spend all that money, they're falling down, they're rotting. Businesses are fleeing. The mobs of illegal migrants are being put up in luxury hotels at your expense, while our great veterans live on the freezing or steaming sidewalks right outside the main entrance.
Yep.
To where the migrants enter their hotel. Think of that. Think of it. We have veterans lying on the street, squalid, lying on the street, sometimes freezing, sometimes it's hot, it's summer. And they're looking at people just came into our country, and they're going up to the 17th floor of their suite. How crazy has our country become?
He's absolutely right. We've made this point so many times on the show. We've been doing this for a year and some change now, and I'm grateful for every day that I get to be here with you. And we've made this point over and over and over again. We treat our veterans so terribly in this country. You know, I made the note a minute ago. I wouldn't necessarily encourage my boys to go into police work. Same with the military, man. And I love our veterans, but that woke leadership is insane. And how veterans are treated in this country when they get back from putting their life on the line is disgusting. It's absolutely vile that we have even one homeless veteran in this country. It's vile. And they can put illegal aliens in hotels. They can let illegal aliens cut the line at the VA, and that's totally fine. And if you bring it up and you have a problem with it, well, you're the bigot. You're the racist. You're the problem. This can't continue this way. It's not sustainable to continue this way. I'm pissed off when I think about how our veterans are treated. I don't get angry often. This is a topic that honestly infuriates me. It should infuriate you too. What happened to us?
And can you imagine what those veterans, when they watch this, must be saying? But listen to this. Can you also imagine what the migrants must be thinking? They're saying, can you believe this? We just came from a place, in many cases, they were in prisons, and now they're living in hotel suites while our veterans are living on the street.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you say anything about it, hey, you're the problem. You're the problem, bigot. How did we get here? We're $35 trillion in debt. Now, our interest payments are outpacing our defense spending. And we can't continue this way. We can't. But they're going to let illegal aliens in, and they're going to put them up in a nice hotel. Or they're going to fly them in, and they're going to bring them to Springfield, Ohio, and then they're going to tell you that they're not eating the ducks and the geese and the cats. They're going to tell you that's not happening, and you're a racist for spreading these unfounded rumors. Despite the countless amounts of evidence that we can present to them, they'll just tell us we're lying. They'll just tell us, don't worry about it. It's unbelievable. Got a text here, 5176. As a retired military member and a current police officer of over 20 years, I tell my grandkids, do not follow my path. It's heartbreaking. Thank you for your service, 5176. And I understand exactly where you're coming from. Why put your life on the line for a country that is going to hate you? Why? That's going to treat you like dirt. It's disgusting. We need to respect our veterans. We need to respect our police officers. I got another text here, 1591. Nashville PD is about 400 short. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? We know why that is. Because nobody wants to go out there and put their life on the line and get shot at, and then when they do their damn job, get treated like a criminal. Who would want to sign up for that? Only an insane person would want to sign up for that. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. and they'll tell you Trump is evil. Trump doesn't love America. All the things, right? 4 years under Harris. 4 years under Harris. She's been the VP. 4 years under Biden. And we've become a third world country. We've imported the third world, and we've become the third world.
With 4 more years of Kamala Harris, New York State will be like a third world nation if it isn't already. It is. I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is too.
With Trump, the Empire State will once again be the envy of the entire world. We will have no crime, only success. And unlike your current radical Democrat regime, I'm not driven by partisan ideology. I'm driven by results, and I'm driven by New York common sense. It's common sense, right? Right? It's common sense. You know, I like to say the party, this is a great party. I like to say the party is really, you know, we're conservative and all that, right? Who knows? You know what we are? We're really people with common sense. We need walls. We need good elections. We want low taxes. We want great police officers that are well taken care of. We don't want to defund the police.
Amen. Amen.
We're the party of common sense more than anything else. And it's picked up a lot of steam. It's true.
Yeah, but, you know, I've heard this since I was a kid. My dad would say it to me. You know, the thing about common sense is it's not so common. A lot of people would rather have a sweet lie than the harsh truth. Mike in Morrison wants to talk about law enforcement. What's up, Mike? Hey, Mike, you there?
I'm here.
Hey, what's up, man?
I just wanted to say I 100% agree with you. It's like we're treating why would you want to sign up to become a cop if you're just going to be treated like a piece of crap?
Yep. Absolutely.
Like, and earlier on Trump, when he said on religion, dang it, he said that some people say, I really appreciate it when he said that some people say he survived that to make to build this country back. I really appreciated how he said that. It's like if he would have said that, I would have been less inclined to like him for saying that, saying God saved him just for building this country back. But when he says that others said it, I just had to think it was a classy move.
Yeah, and people are saying it. I appreciate the call, Mike. People are saying that. Lots of people are saying that. The conversation online always goes there. And you can look at this guy and the policies that he had and the way he ran the country the first time, and it's hard not to think that he can right the ship. I think he can right the ship. Right now, we're careening towards an iceberg. We need to right the ship. Betty in the borough wants to talk about illegal aliens. What's up, Betty?
Hey, Chris, I listen to your show every day. Love it, love it, love it. Go Trump. I'm a Trump supporter. I just wanted to say, I heard you mention Springfield. Now, I've been following YouTubers the last few days. There's been more and more going there to get information out for themselves. And they've been interviewing townspeople and how they feel and what they're seeing, what's going on. The media is covering it up. They've been telling the people that place the migrants there, the Haitians, they've been told to do not speak to people, to lay low. The streets are just like non-existent right now. And people were saying there was a few ducks here, there was geese there. They're all gone now. There's people out there fishing on the river, the residents, and they see everything is just gone. And they've been finding mutilated animals. The cats and stuff, I don't know that much about, but I do know that one of the residents were interviewed and said she worked at a local store there, and that these Haitians come in with their cards and buy $300, $400, $500 worth of groceries, and the cashier can see what the what's left on their card. She says it's in thousands of dollars.
Yep.
So they're getting everything coming in here. They're buying up all the houses with the money on the cards or however they're doing it. And the residents there's no more housing in Springfield.
Yeah,
There's people living in their vans and going to other towns. I mean, they're being run out.
I heard a story. I heard a story where there was, and it's from a reporter on the ground, a citizen journalist, and he says that a landlord kicked a family out to say that they were renovating the apartment, and said we're going to need a few months. You'll be able to come back after. When the few months were up, the landlord actually rented it out from underneath them to a Haitian migrant family because he could charge the government 3 times the amount of rent.
Exactly right, because the guy said he was paying $1,500 a month. They can get double for it from the government. And I'll get off and let you get some more comments from all this. And thank you for taking my call.
Hey, I appreciate you, Betty. Thank you for listening, Betty in the borough there. Donald Trump did announce last night that he's going to Ohio. He's going to do a rally in Springfield. He's going there, and he's also going to be going to Aurora, Colorado. Yet the CNNs of the world, CNN, I just saw the little chyron, the little the bottom ticker on the screen, the chyron read, Trump continues to push debunked claims about Haitians in Ohio. Oh, is it debunked? Debunked by who? When ABC debunked it, they said the city manager said that it's not happening. But then we find video of the city manager from March of 2024, before this all went viral, saying, guys, I'm getting reports of this happening. These people want to remain anonymous. We need to do something about it. Yeah, we do need to do something about it. But again, they're trying to shut you up by calling you names. Don't let them.
I'm going to Springfield and I'm going to Aurora. You may never see me again, but that's okay. Got to do what I got to do. Whatever happened to Trump? Well, he never got out of Springfield.
Yikes.
I'm leading in Ohio by like 15 points, a lot. And we're going to take care of Ohio. And we're going to take care of Colorado. And we're going to take care of every single state in the union. They're all under siege. A lot of people don't talk about.
No, people don't talk about it. The harsh reality isn't something you're allowed to discuss, but comfy, cozy lies, hey, those are abundant in mainstream media. It's 10:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Let me tell you about my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. If you need to get your system serviced, do it the best way, the Busy Bee way with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. I mean, it's fall. Before you know it, you're going to be cranking that heat up. And if you haven't had it maintained, you're going to wait for a problem to pop up. Don't do that. Keep your unit in tippy-toppy shape. I know Mason loves it when I say that. Tippy-toppy shape with my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Whether you need annual maintenance, repair, replacement, plumbing, heating, or air system, the guys that I always call Busy Bee. You're not going to find a better value on replacement systems. They offer up to 12 months with no payment, no interest, with approved credit. And sign up for that Beehive Club membership, only $99, and you get so much value. 3 annual tune-ups, one for your heating, one for your cooling, one for your plumbing, 10% on repairs, priority front-of-the-line service, a $100 annual accrued replacement credit, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions. And for the month of September, when you buy one, you get one free for the grandparents in your life. Busy Bee's your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, online at busybeehvac.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It's 10:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Yeah, they'll tell us CNN's still running this ticker. Trump's still targeting Haitian migrants over debunked claims. It's debunked. Okay. Debunked by who? Oh, just leftist media. Got it. Okay. Don't listen to the citizens on the ground. Don't listen to the eyewitnesses. Don't listen to the people in the city council meeting talking about this. Don't, guys. Don't. It's too problematic. Definitely don't listen to local news. I saw a story. This one's from Florida. And maybe this one will be debunked by mainstream media soon too. In Florida, horses were killed outside of Miami for meat. Yeah, you heard me right. This is a story that was on local TV in Florida. Horses stolen and slaughtered, butchered for meat.
Now on Just One station, horses missing after a barn break-in. That search ending hours later and not far from their home. 2 animals found butchered about a mile away.
And tonight, their owners, as you can imagine, are looking for answers. The Night Team's Alex Browning has this exclusive.
For somebody to have the stomach to do something like this is heartless.
A heartless horse heist in southwest Miami-Dade over the weekend.
This is the same thing as going into somebody's yard, taking their dog, and cooking it.
Turning deadly. 2 horses swiped from southwest Miami-Dade turned up dead. Their corpses found Sunday morning off southwest 205th Avenue.
Noticed that the fence was cut, and at that point we realized that they were taken.
Owner David says it started sometime overnight Saturday. His 2 horses, Sammy and War, on the home front, stolen from their stalls off southwest 207th Avenue.
There are children, and they were abducted and killed for meat.
Their corpses later found a few blocks away.
Both horses were slaughtered sometime over the weekend.
Slaughtered for meat. Is this one of those debunked claims? Is this also debunked? They found the carcasses of the horses there outside of Miami and slaughtered, butchered for meat. Huh. Weird. Strange. Must be another conspiracy theory, right? I wouldn't expect CNN to cover this one. They're too busy telling us that all the claims in Springfield, Ohio, have been debunked. They don't want you to talk about it. J.D. Vance was on the campaign trail yesterday as well. He was in North Carolina, and Vance says, on Kamala Harris's border policies, they just want you to shut up. They don't want you talking about the pets missing because it highlights how bad she's been on the border. I'll bring you what J.D. Vance said next. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Who consented? Who in this room, who in this country consented to allowing millions of aliens to come into this country unchecked, unvetted? None of us did. None of us did. And the game the media has played here, again, this two-step that Kamala Harris does, I think it's the most disgraceful thing that she has done in her entire campaign. She's going to say, on the one hand, we're going to let in millions of illegal aliens to make your housing costs higher, to make your hospitals overwhelmed, to make your local schools impossible for your children to learn in. She's going to do that, and on the other hand, if you dare complain about it, you are a racist. Kamala Harris, I think that's disgraceful. You ought to have respect enough for your own people to enforce their border laws and listen to them. Listen to them when they complain about it. Don't pretend they're bad people.
No, but that's what they do. They tell you that you're a racist and you're a bigot and you're not allowed to talk about it. You can't talk about it, guys. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I know you aren't either. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But hey, this is the United States in 2024. This is the United States in 2024. Where just talking about it, they'll tell you that you're causing bomb threats. Yeah, bomb threats. That the Ohio governor said that all of those threats were hoaxes. Yet, we're still here, and the mayor of Springfield, Ohio, has taken emergency powers. He's assumed emergency powers to address security concerns. What? Springfield, Ohio Mayor Rob Rue has issued a proclamation that grants him temporary emergency powers as security concerns continue due to national attention over the city's immigration issues. Emergency powers. Emergency powers. This is in response to the bomb threats, right? The same bomb threats that Ohio Governor Mike DeWine said were hoaxes.
At least 33 separate bomb threats, each one of which has been responded to, and each one of whom has been found as a hoax.
Oh, that's why you need emergency powers.
So 33 threats, 33 hoax.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, take those emergency powers when you get them, right? We've seen that movie before. Local officials love taking emergency powers. And the Springfield Mayor, Rob Rue, he says that he's ensuring the safety of Springfield's residents is his top priority, and we're addressing these threats with the seriousness they warrant and are taking immediate steps to ensure the security of both our community and our employees. Our commitment to preventing harm is unwavering. So emergency powers. Does he not listen to the governor of Ohio?
Threats, 33 hoax.
33 threats, 33 hoaxes. Yeah, hey, why not take emergency powers, right? Why not? Unbelievable. This is where we're at. And you're not allowed to talk about it. If I was worried about the safety concerns of my citizens, maybe I'd be worried about all the car accidents that the Haitians are causing. Maybe I'd be worried that housing costs are going so sky high in Springfield, Ohio, that I'm going to have homeless American citizens come the winter, and it's about to be cold. You know, I'd have a lot of safety concerns. Hoaxes would not be one of them.
So 33 threats, 33 hoax.
Hey, why not? Never let a crisis go to waste, right? Don't let a crisis go to waste. Unbelievable. And they'll tell you that there's no evidence. There's no evidence. There's no evidence. Don't listen to the Springfield city manager that David Muir used to fact check Trump on national TV, saying this back in March of 2024.
Laws and culture is 180 degrees different of what they're used to. And one of the things that I heard that bothered me very much, I've actually had quite a few people contact me here lately, is some pretty horrid things occurring to domesticated animal in the neighborhood. We've had some stuff in the park.
Ducks and geese, right?
That, again, they they're being taken advantage of for reasons other than. And if you shake your head, Brian.
No. I asked me if there was proof. I just don't have proof of it.
And people that have confided in me have asked me for anonymity. I can't give their names up.
I mean, we haven't seen the proof that you're talking. And I've heard about it too.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard about it too, but I need to shut you down because you don't have proof. Eyewitness statements, that's no proof. People that are worried about, having repercussions for speaking up, that want to remain anonymous, that's not proof, right? When you listen to the people in these city council meetings, that's not proof either, right? But don't listen to Ohio residents. That's not proof. That's not proof, right? No. But let's take emergency powers if you're the mayor of Springfield, Ohio. What an absolute clown. What an absolute clown. Where were you with your safety concerns months ago when Aiden Clark was killed by a Haitian migrant who crashed into his school bus? Were you concerned about safety then? No, because that was all part of the plan. I love that line from the Dark Knight with the Joker. He says, nobody loses their mind if it's part of the plan. It's when things aren't part of the plan, like, people noticing what's going on. That's not part of the plan. That's when they lose their mind. Steve in Heartland wants to talk about the bomb threats. Steve, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man? Oh. Hey, Steve, you there?
Hi.
Steve. Hey, I'm going to put you back. Yeah, I can hear you now. What's up, man?
Okay, it's Steve and Dan from Huntland.
What's up, man?
You not hear me?
I can hear you. Go.
Okay. All right. Anyway, being trained, having to go overseas and doing, certain type of training, military, this could be just a desensitizing factor. Having us chase our tail for so long, like crying wolf, and then all of a sudden, we kind of just, God, not another one, and then they hit us. And that's something that we all definitely need to be looking at, because that's how they operate. They like to make you suffer. They really do. They want you, when they kill you, they want to make you suffer. And
but part of me goes, there was going to be another city council meeting, and people were going to have all their eyes on that city council meeting, and they didn't want people's eyes on that city council meeting, and then these hoaxes started popping up. My mind, and maybe my tinfoil is too tight, but my mind goes to the fact that it would probably be a deranged leftist putting out these hoaxes because they don't want people listening to what the residents of Springfield, Ohio have to say.
Right. But I also heard that all of the calls came from overseas.
Yes.
So that also leads to believe that this is, again, could be some type of seditious act that is in the planning, and that we need to kind of be aware of, and just keep that in mind and treat every call like it's a real one, because one day it will be.
Well, I hear you, and they did treat every call like a real one, and they responded to every call, and the finding was...
So 33 threats, 33 hoax.
I hardly think that warrants a mayor taking emergency powers. Oh, he's concerned about the safety of the citizens. Where was that concern months ago when they dropped off 20,000 Haitian migrants in a town of 60K? Seriously. Where was that concern then? It was nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. But this is the open border policy of Kamala Harris. This is what we get with Kamala Harris. And we don't get an honest media covering it honestly. We just don't. We get them shouting us down and telling us, it's been debunked. It's been debunked. Don't listen to the residents. This has already been debunked. This is why Americans support mass deportations. We see what's happening all over the country. You got that story out of Miami where they're kidnapping a horse, butchering it for meat. Crazy. That not going to be a mainstream media story. I got another story here. This one is Whitewater, Wisconsin. Whitewater is also dealing with a huge increase of migrants in their town. Small town. They're getting migrants too.
Migrants first started arriving in early 2022. The traffic has picked up. On December 28th, Whitewater's police chief and city manager wrote a letter to the White House. They're asking the Biden administration for help as this city of about 15,000 handles an estimated 800 to 1,000 migrants.
I'm not going to lie, we did close for 2 weeks at one point just to sort of reassess how we were serving the needs of everybody.
Christine Zabayos, director of the community space, says there was not a huge increase in visitors, but they were seeing a lot of people with no idea how the space works.
Sometimes we felt that we had people who were maybe taking more than they needed just because they didn't know they could come back.
For the city, the strain was more severe. The letter states police are struggling to watch the entire community because they're seeing 3 times the number of unlicensed drivers. Then, the city says it bought, quote, costly translation software so police could communicate with migrants when handling traffic cases up to more serious cases, including sexual assaults and the death of an infant.
Is this also fake news? Also, I don't know about you, but with Whitewater, Wisconsin, I did a little research, and you know what that county voted for in the last 2 elections? They voted Trump. Is the Biden-Harris administration punishing areas that voted Trump? I constantly feel like this is the case. You know, I go back to that story in New York where there's a Trump county that they shut down the school for a couple days, sent the kids to online learning. And because it was too cold outside for the migrants, they had to convert the school into a shelter. This is always happening in areas that voted for Trump. Maybe my tinfoil's too tight, but I do feel like there's a punishment factor in this with where they're dropping off these migrants, where they want these newcomers, where they want to import new voters. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm noticing too hard. But I am noticing these things. And the Springfield mayor, oh my gosh. I need emergency powers. You know what I would like? I would like somebody to ask Kamala Harris some real questions. That's what I would like. She's not going to do the interviews. She doesn't do interviews. She dodges interviews like Donald Trump dodges bullets. But she's not going to do any real interviews. And J.D. Vance brings this up yesterday in North Carolina. Reporters should ask her real questions about her policies, like her open border policies.
Now, I would love for some of our reporters to ask Kamala Harris about some of these policies and why she did all the things that she did, and now she's running away from them. She has flip-flopped on literally every single proposal that she ran on in 2020. Now she says she doesn't believe. I mean, she practically is at this point where she could walk into this room right now and she could steal one of your red hats, sir, and put it on and say, "Make America Great Again," because Kamala Harris is practically just running on the Trump agenda right now.
Honestly, I mean, she ran an ad. She ran an ad that featured Trump's border wall. What? This is what we got. This is who they're telling us is creating a very, very close election with Donald Trump. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. J.D. Vance did say, though, he wishes that she would give more interviews for simply the comic relief.
Part of the reason I want Kamala Harris to do more interviews is because there's so much comic relief in it. I really do believe that every time she answers a question, we gain about 100,000 votes. So I do selfishly wish that Kamala Harris would give more interviews to the North Carolina media, because then I think this state wouldn't even be close come November. And I don't know if you've seen, my friends, some of these interviews that she gives, but they'll say, well, Kamala, give us your specific plan. What is your exact plan for how you're going to lower the grocery, food, and housing prices for American citizens? And she'll say, well, did you know I grew up in a middle-class family?
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. She's got that line absolutely rehearsed. I played this yesterday, but it's Kamala Harris at the debate saying it, Kamala Harris in her interview outside of Philadelphia saying it on ABC, and then Kamala Harris at the National Association of Black Journalists saying the exact same thing. I grew up in a middle-class family.
So I was raised as a middle-class kid. I grew up a middle-class kid. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people.
You know, we have ambitions and aspirations and dreams. The ambition, the aspiration, the dream.
I started my career as a prosecutor. I was a career prosecutor for most of my career.
Having a background as a prosecutor.
I intend to create an opportunity economy.
Developing and creating an opportunity economy. What I imagine and believe and call an opportunity economy.
Yeah, she's got the routine down. I just still think she's not doing a great job at it. But we got more on the way. I want to talk more about Donald Trump in Long Island. His rally was incredible, and he had so much to say, as he often does. He also had an awesome appearance on Gutfeld last night, and I'll bring you those highlights as well. It's 10:52 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
traffic problem. Smyrna, I-24 eastbound at Almaville Road. The right two lanes are blocked by debris. And hear what a left-leaning Teamster board member has to say about no endorsement for either presidential candidate coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Trump was on Gutfeld last night, and man, he's so good at those interviews where he's just being a human. He is. He said the presidency is the most dangerous profession.
These events, like how you take these events so not lightly, but it's almost casually. The way, like, I get more angry, when my pant pocket gets caught on a doorknob. I get angrier about that than you get angry about getting shot at. It doesn't. How do you process that?
I'll bring you that answer after the newscast with Ken Weaver. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And again, in Smyrna, we've got that traffic problem. It's actually not a crash. It's debris that is blocking the right two lanes of 24 eastbound right there at Almaville. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Marcus Moore leads us off with escalating tensions in the Middle East. Israel hitting Hezbollah targets in Lebanon as the terrorist group's leader calls those device explosions an act of war. Here's Marcus there in Lebanon's capital, Beirut.
As Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, was giving a speech, fighter jets were flying low over the downtown Beirut where we are, and there were two very large sonic booms. And news strikes reported in southern Lebanon, the IDF saying that these strikes were targeted at Hezbollah infrastructure and were in response from a strike that Hezbollah was carrying out in northern Israel.
So authorities in Israel say they've arrested an elderly man with ties to Iran who's accused of plotting to kill senior Israeli leaders, including the prime minister. Well, the stock market opening higher today as Wall Street continues to react to the Fed's decision to lower interest rates. Here's Derek Dennis.
A rally at the opening on Wall Street. The Dow gaining 540 points, the Nasdaq jumping 2.2%, and the S&P 500 up 1.5%. Analysts credit the bounce from the Fed's move to cut interest rates on Wednesday by a half percentage point. The first rate cut in 4 years. It means borrowing costs will be cheaper on mortgages, car loans, and credit cards. Economists also say the Fed rate cut is less about inflation, which is trending lower, and more about unemployment, which is historically low but starting to tick up.
And as for when households are going to feel the impacts of this, well, the most immediate sector already. That's the housing market. The average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage, now 6.2%. That's a full point lower compared to just a couple of months ago. And election 2024, Vice President Kamala Harris going to Michigan today, part of her campaign's plan to boost support across the upper Midwest, the so-called Blue Wall. The strategy may be paying off for Harris in Pennsylvania, where a New York Times Siena poll shows her with a 5-point lead. But she and President Trump are tied nationally. We get more from Lena Wang.
What's surprising there is that Harris is actually doing better in the must-win battleground state in Pennsylvania than she is nationally. Back in 2020, President Biden had won the national vote by more than 4 percentage points, but only won Pennsylvania by about 1.2 points. But what these polls have shown post-debate is that this race is still essentially locked in a dead heat.
And Wang says she spoke to an executive board member of the Teamsters who is a supporter of Harris, who calls this lack of endorsement for either candidate an implied endorsement of former President Trump. Internal polls show he leads 2-1. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on Air. You can listen wherever you go on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app. You can download our app, 99.7 WTN. Search for it in your app store. Podcasts are available on Spotify and Apple and on that app. And you can watch us on Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. All the things. Also, I'm going to be filling in for Brian this afternoon. Double dosing.
All right, brother Chris.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Ken's hype.
I'm big hype.
Big hype. I love it.
Ken, you get a full day of Chris Hand. How's that make you feel?
A full day of brother Chris Hand.
You ready for this genius radio segue?
I'm ready, dude.
Gutfeld was big hype last night to have Donald Trump on. This is what I do. I can radio segue with the best of them.
Yes.
Segue on segue.
All right. So yesterday, Gutfeld, the presidency is the most dangerous profession. And Donald Trump responded to Greg Gutfeld.
Like how you take these events so not lightly, but it's almost casually. The way like I get more angry, when my pant pocket gets caught on a doorknob. I get angrier about that than you get angry about getting shot at. It doesn't. How do you process that?
Well, number one, do I have a choice?
Yeah.
Right? What am I going to do, right?
Yeah.
Do we have a choice? But, it's interesting. I was thinking a lot about it over the last period of time since Butler. And being president is a very dangerous job because with a race car driver, that's a dangerous job. It's like 0.1% die. Mm-hmm. With a bull rider, I think bull riding looks pretty scary, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit more than that die. Mm-hmm. With a president, what is it, 6% or 7%? It's the most dangerous profession there is. So if you want to be president, I have a lot of friends that wanted to run. They're thinking about maybe not doing it. But here's the only good thing is that it's always a consequential president that gets shot at. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, so far, I've been very lucky. Or something is greater than all of us.
Ooh.
It is. Something is up there. Someone is up there, maybe watching over us.
I think he's voting for you.
Yeah.
I love how he says, it's only consequential presidents that get shot at. Yeah, honestly. It's only the good ones that are forced to almost take a bullet or take a bullet. Yep. They talked about a lot on Gutfeld last night. They also talked about the dishonesty of the mainstream press.
Look, the media is extremely dishonest, extremely corrupt, actually. Look at the debate. I walked off, I said, that's debate. They said I'm the GOAT in debates because I had a lot of debates and I became president. And the GOAT means greatest of all time. He's a GOAT. But what a great stage. And I walked off that stage and I thought I had the best debate. And I was very unfairly treated by the anchor. Mm-hmm. I'm not fans of those guys anymore. And his hair was better 5 years ago than it is now.
Okay. He's a savage. He takes the opportunity to take a swipe at David Muir's hair. Also, that debate was rigged. Everybody understands that, right? Lindsey Davis understands that it was rigged. David Muir understands that it was rigged. Congress it wants ABC to turn over any communications they had with the Kamala Harris campaign after the network has rejected the whistleblower claims of collusion. Congress is demanding that ABC and Harris hand over all of the communications with the network and the campaign team related to the debate earlier this month after that sworn affidavit has emerged from a whistleblower claiming to be a staffer with knowledge that ABC gave Harris an advantage in the debate with Donald Trump. They want to know more. And the American people see what's going on. David Muir lost, 11%, 12% in the nightly news ratings since the debate. ABC, they weren't sending their best. They just weren't. But Trump understands what time it was. He knew what he was walking into.
That happens. That happens with the clock.
I mean, who among us?
That happens with the clock. But, they came at me on everything like crime.
Yeah.
I said the crime is rampant. He said crime is down. I said crime is down. Who would think it's without even knowing? And I was right. Mm-hmm. The following day, DOJ announced numbers. I don't know who it was in DOJ, but somebody over there likes me, that crime is up 45%, murder's up, numbers like you wouldn't even believe. And anybody would know that without even seeing charts. But it turned out to be a false attack. They attacked the bloodbath. That was referring to the auto industry. You know all these things.
Yeah.
Charlottesville was totally debunked by everybody, including Laura. Laura did a whole show on it, how it's so ridiculous.
And even Snopes, which is a left-wing
That's right.
site.
They even said.
Yeah.
But all of them, and they didn't correct her once, and they corrected me everything I said practically.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. They didn't correct that once. They let all the hoaxes go, and they fact-checked Donald Trump every chance they could, and everybody knew what was going on during that debate. It was 3-on-1. Trump walked into a handicap match, and he still did a fantastic job. Scott Adams, I don't know if you follow Scott Adams on Twitter. I follow Scott Adams. He was to me, he felt like a leftist for a long time. He's kind of come around. But he said, yeah, Trump didn't necessarily hit any singles, but his long balls from that debate are still rising. And I think he nails it with that. You know, the biggest thing that we have out from the debate, right, that's still a conversation is what's going on in Springfield, Ohio. And they tell us it's debunked. They tell us that his rhetoric is causing violence. The Springfield mayor has declared an emergency and has assumed emergency powers because of these fake threats. And it's like, dude, come on. But what it does is it actually highlights exactly what the result is of Kamala Harris's open border policies and the impact that it has on American citizens. You don't have to really dive down the rabbit hole of they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, even though you can listen to the citizens or you can listen to the mainstream media. You decide which one you trust more. You don't have to dive down that rabbit hole to understand the negative impacts from Kamala Harris's record on the border. It's been devastating. It's been absolutely devastating. You know, this is just a fact. This is just a fact. But it wasn't all like heavy stuff during this Gutfeld interview. They actually talked about the assassin. Of course, I say it wasn't all heavy stuff. They talked about the assassination attempt, but they talked about it in a light way, and I think it humanizes Trump the way he can just laugh it off.
Mr. P, how's your golf game?
Well, haven't been thinking about it too much lately. I always said golf is a very dangerous game.
It really is. It really is, especially if they're playing with you.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a mean joke?
Pretty sad.
If they had told you that the shooter was there, would you have tried to take him out with your 3-wood?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, if I knew.
I just love this guy. Nobody gives him enough credit for how funny he is. He's very, very funny. And throughout all of this, you know, they had jokes, but they had serious stuff. It was a good balance in this interview. One of the things that came up again was the open borders came up constantly, right? This is a topic that many Americans are concerned about. And one of the questions was, should importing fentanyl be treated with the death penalty? I think it should be. I wonder what you think. 615-737-9986. This is what Donald Trump said.
Talking about the border, not just all the young military-age men that are coming across this country, the fentanyl that's coming across this country.
Terrible.
If you were in office, would you consider taking importation of fentanyl as a terrorist act? Because if you count it under terrorism, then our Department of Defense can get involved. We give our law enforcement a break.
Correct. Well, and you can even go further than that.
Yeah, I mean, you could send pictures of their mansions to certain generals in Mexico.
I love that. What a callback. This is, he's talking about negotiating with the Taliban. They said Trump showed a picture of Abdul's home to the leader of the Taliban. So why are you showing me that? He's like, I don't know. So you could show the cartel leaders pictures of their homes. Yeah, you could. You could designate them as terrorist organizations too, and maybe actually go on offense against the cartels. Right? We haven't seen a lot of offense on the southern border in the last 4 years, though.
These are really rich people. These are the cartel people. These are really rich. Look, we can play games and we can be nice and we can be smart. You're never going to, I set up blue ribbon committees. Friends of mine, could I get on a committee? They didn't know the first thing about it. They don't know about El Chapo. They don't know about, these are very smart, hardened people. And, I'm setting up a blue ribbon committee with socialites from New York and California. It's ridiculous. And they don't even want to talk about it. They talk about it for 2 minutes, then they start talking about society. The only way you're going to stop this is the death penalty for drug dealers. I don't know if this country is ready for it, but if you think about it, each drug dealer on average kills 500 people. On average, he or she, drug dealer, kills 5. I know so many families who have lost a son or a daughter or parents even to fentanyl.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely right. I would be full in favor of death penalty for drug traffickers, 100%, especially fentanyl. Like, I think that, low-level drugs, the party drugs, if you will, I'm not saying that we should be doing death penalty for marijuana dealers. I don't think that is reasonable. But for fentanyl, yeah. And in this listening audience, I would imagine everybody knows somebody who's lost their lives to fentanyl in this country. Like, the opioid epidemic doesn't get dealt with seriously enough, and it hasn't been dealt with seriously enough for a long time. And, heck, even going back to Big Pharma, who Joe Biden and Kamala Harris say they beat, the Sackler family got a slap on the wrist for what they've done in aiding and abetting and creating this opioid crisis. But if you're dealing fentanyl, you should be treated with the death penalty. Yes, you should be killed. 100%. Full stop. Like, the devastation that you're creating in this country is horrific. Everybody knows somebody that's died because of this. I'm convinced. And if you don't, consider yourself blessed. From back home in Massachusetts, I have too many friends that have lost their lives to this stuff. And yes, they made their own mistakes along the way. Yes, they chose their path along the way. But it's too much. It's too much. And maybe they'd still be here if we had serious penalties for people pushing these narcotics. Right? I think so. I think we do need to get serious with this. I think we need to designate these cartels as terrorist organizations. I think we need to go on offense. We see what Israel can do with pagers. Maybe we could do something similar to the cartel members. Maybe we could find out everybody that's in the Sinaloa cartel, everybody that's in all these drug organizations, and maybe we could send them some pagers. Maybe we can, Trump can send a message to Netanyahu and be like, hey, tell me how you did that. Because what you saw with Hezbollah has been nothing short of fantastic. Nothing short of fantastic. There's a story in the Daily Mail where it said that the headline was, what's going to explode next? What's going to explode next? The fridge? My phone? The scenes here in Lebanon are from a horror film. Fleshless faces, eyes hanging out with dozens dead, thousands hurt. None of us feel safe, writes Hassan Harfouche. Well, I think you wouldn't have to worry about it if you weren't in a terrorist organization, right? Because what was attacked were their beepers, their walkie-talkies, and more that were used by Hezbollah terrorist fighters that detonated. And I've seen the videos. If you haven't, they're on my Twitter account, @ChrisHandOnAir. This is targeted attacks. I would love to see something like that replicated with the cartels. I'm not one to cheer on death, cheer on violence, but we have to meet these people where they're at. And if that's what they understand, let's show them who does it best, right? That's what I think. I'm tired of, tiptoeing around these issues. Like, if you want to fix it, you should fix it. And we have the power in this country to do just that. We do. But wait until you hear what Donald Trump says about Tim Walz. Oh my gosh, you have to hear what Donald Trump says about Tim Walz. I'll play that for you next. Donald Trump actually saved Tim Walz, according to Trump. I'll bring it to you on the way. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We talk a lot about the Glock store. I love the Glock store. It's Chris Hand for my friends at the Glock store. It's the best place to buy a Glock. They have every Glock in stock. It's the best place to learn. Every session is a private lesson. I'm hype, big hype. I have another private lesson on Monday. This is where I train. This is where I learn. It's the best place to shoot because they have private rooms, not public lanes. And if you're advanced, or a beginner, you should do it at the Glock store. You can either get your basics down or you can compete. They have the USPSA and low light, no light open competitions every month, and now it's the best place to party. There ain't no party like a Glock store party. You've heard us all say it, but whether you're throwing a birthday party, retirement, or corporate team building, do it at the Glock store. You'll get a VIP room with a full kitchen, dedicated shooting rooms, instructors, shooting activities for every level. They'll include all the ammo. They'll even give you full auto options. Now, to get your party started, all you got to do is pick up the phone and call my friends at the Glock store, 615-682-6565. 615-682-6565. Just give them the details, how many people you want to bring. They'll come up with a party plan tailored to your individual needs. It's the Glock store, my place to shoot, everyone's place to party, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Traffic problems. Rutherford County, 24 eastbound. The right lane is blocked there at Almaville Road because of debris. Looks like a lot of people heading out of town or at least getting picked up at the airport. You've got pickup and drop-off delays over there at the airport. I-40 eastbound off-ramp to International Airport right now is stop and go. Stocks have hit another all-time high. We'll tell you about that at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We were talking about Trump on Gutfeld, and Trump said, we gotta do death penalty for fentanyl dealers. I'm in. I'm in. Greg in Spring Hill has a story to share with us. Greg, you're next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, man?
Hey, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Hey, we buried our son 3 years ago from fentanyl poisoning. He left 4 of my grandsons without a father, and so it was laced into something that he bought, and it was his fault he bought it. But I gotta say that it seems to me that we've sat on 4 years losing 140,000 young people a year, and nobody's done a damn thing to enlist our unbelievably gifted military to go balls to the wall to take these people out.
Yep.
And we've got a Navy that could stop the fentanyl from coming into this nation, and we've got 4 SEAL teams right there in San Diego that could stop it. Just let these guys loose. But nobody is willing to take the step to eliminate these individuals. I say you're right, death penalty for dealers, but the dealers get it from the people that are over our borders.
Yeah.
And it just makes me wonder if there's a group of people that have enough power politically and have been through this that can get together and begin to lobby for something to be done now. How many more people are we going to lose?
Honestly, and Greg, first, I'm sorry about your son, man. That's heartbreaking, and I've lost a lot of friends to the same stuff. I mean, I have too many stories that I could share. But I feel like we're losing a generation of good Americans to this crap, and we're doing nothing about it.
Nothing. Everybody talks about it.
We shut down the entire economy, the entire country over the Wu flu, and what happened? You know what I mean? We've lost more people to this drug than I feel like we should, and we need to step up and change it.
Yeah, Chris, I've worked, with high-level military people for my entire adult life. I know their capabilities, and I'm telling you right now, these guys can end this.
Yep.
They can end it so that it's not getting over our borders, and somebody needs to step up. I'm willing to be the first one if I could figure out a way.
I hear you, man. I totally get
it. One other quick thing. That traumatized my 4 kids and myself and my wife so much that it changed the direction of our life. Now we're back in, but I'm saying that it's not just the ones that are dying; it's all the ones that love those people.
Oh yeah. Well, and then even before that, it's like you go through these motions where you're mourning the living, and you do still have some hope that you'll get them back. But even the ones that recover from these addictions, they're forever changed. You can't go back, but we can stop it at the source if we just had the cojones to do it. It could be over tomorrow. It could be over tomorrow.
I agree, but I got to tell you, Trump is the only person I think that can do this, and I hope that this nation has the gift of Trump back in office. That's all I can say.
I'm with you, Greg. I'm 100% with you. And again, I'm sorry to hear about your son. I'll keep you guys in my prayers.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later.
Appreciate you, man. That's Greg in Spring Hill. And it's, you know what the sad part is like, as heartbreaking as that story is, it's like everybody has a story like that. Everybody does. Yes, death penalty for drug dealers. That's what we need. And yes, you can understand that people are making their own mistakes and leading them to that path, but we should still be stepping up. Those are still our citizens, right? You can always hold out hope that somebody's going to recover until they're gone. And then that hope is gone with them. It's sad, man, but that's just the state of the country, right? Hopefully Trump wins. Hopefully we get something like death penalty for fentanyl traffickers. Hopefully he could call up Netanyahu and maybe figure out how we can get them some pagers. The cartel members, right? That'd be nice. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Reminder, drivers, right now near the airport, you've got 40 eastbound backed up due to all the traffic to either pick up or drop off That 40 eastbound off-ramp is real backed up. And right now in Smyrna, 24 eastbound at Almaville Road, the right lane blocked by debris. Stocks have hit another all-time high a day after the Fed cut a key interest rate. The Dow jumping 394 points or 1% to 41,897, but it went as high as 600 after this morning's open to 42,105. S&P gained 1%. The NASDAQ jumped 453 points or 2.6%. In our nation's capital, House Speaker Mike Johnson says members will try again to pass a new budget and prevent a government shutdown in the weeks before the election. A group of Republicans joined with nearly all Democrats to block the last spending bill. Some Republicans pushing for additional Secret Service funding to better protect former President Trump after 2 assassination attempts. Lawmakers in the Senate say they want more transparency from the Department of Homeland Security about those shootings. Speaking to reporters today on Capitol Hill, Republican Senator Josh Hawley criticized federal officials.
In the Senate, congressional investigators on the Homeland Security Committee have not gotten cooperation from DHS and Secret Service. We have not gotten the evidence, the documentation we've asked for. It's been 2 months, and I don't understand why. Nobody does.
Election 2024, more poll workers are needed here in Nashville with the election nearing. A CBS News investigation finds more than a third of all top election officials have quit or retired since the 2020 presidential election. Well, News Channel 5 spoke to Susan Howard and Sid High, who will be among those assisting voters at the polls here in Nashville. Howard has been involved in the election process since 2008, starting in Ohio before she moved to Tennessee. This will be High's first time.
I've been working with the election, process actually since 2008, actually, in Ohio and now here when I moved here about 8 years ago.
I heard the stories that they were needing folks, and I thought, well, I'm retired, so I'll just sign up to see how it works.
So as the need for more poll workers grows here in Nashville, paid training is already underway. You can find out more information online. Applications for poll workers in Davidson County will be accepted until September 25th. 6 more days. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thank you, Ken. 11:33 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand, and I want to tell you about my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. If you're looking for health insurance, or if you pay for your own health insurance, don't go online looking for quotes. I mean, this is what's going to happen. Let me explain to you what's going to happen if you go online. You're going to get endless calls from call centers, and then they're not going to stop, right? And these are people just looking to make money off of you. Instead, call Shane Ring. He's an expert with over 20 years of experience, and he can provide actual advice for your health insurance needs. And the plans that he has at Cover Nash, if you qualify, they'll let you pick your own doctor, and they're 30 to 60% lower in cost than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there's going to be no surprise tax bills. So if you're paying for your own health insurance, if you own a small business, if you're uninsured, underinsured, if you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Shane. 615-465-0023. That's 615-465-0023. Shane will give you actual advice, break things down for you in a way that you can understand. You can find out more at his website, covernash.com. Just fill out a quote form, covernash.com. This will be a quality plan managed by you, not the government. Covernash.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
The only way you're going to stop this is the death penalty for drug dealers. I don't know if this country is ready for it, but if you think about it, each drug dealer on average kills 500 people on average. He or she, drug dealer, kills 5. I know so many families who have lost a son or a daughter or parents even to fentanyl.
Yeah, and it's got to stop. It's 11:38 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I said I was going to play the funny clip of Donald Trump talking about Tim Walz, but this is kind of taken off. I'll probably play that Tim Walz clip when I fill in for Brian on the drive this afternoon on Super Talk. So stay tuned. We could have that to look forward to. But anytime fentanyl comes up, you get a lot of reaction. And a lot of people agree with Trump. There needs to be a death penalty for these fentanyl dealers. I got a text here from 8212. Great text. He said, there's kids that are dying from laced joints the first time they smoke. They didn't have to die FFS. I think we all know what that means. He goes, bad judgment, sure. Should they die for one bad decision that was laced? No, I agree with that. Mark in Hendersonville wants to weigh in on the fentanyl. Mark, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How you doing?
I was just thinking of an old Western thing. You know, horse thieves, they used to hang them.
Yep.
It wasn't because it was such a violent crime. It was just that it was so out of control that they had to do something to stop it.
Yeah.
And also on the Israeli thing, you know, people have been crying. The Israelis have been killing innocent people over there and stuff. Well, this new pager thing, no, they're just targeting just the bad guys.
Yep.
And not taking out. They should be happy about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I appreciate the call. Another guy wants to talk. We know him as one of our favorites. Matt from Smyrna has an opinion on fentanyl. What's up, Matt?
What's going on, Chris?
What's up? What are your thoughts? Are you going to give me the opposite take that fentanyl dealers shouldn't be put to death? Or what? Where are you at on this issue?
No. I think that there's a lot of blame to go around. But what I really want to start out is, you know, I guess I was 15 in high school in the 80s when they were dumping all the cocaine into the minority neighborhoods. And it was coming in from Florida. It was coming in from Mexico. Never once heard them to build a wall over there in Florida to stop that drug cartel, right? So now, you know, it's big business. You know, America's making big business off the drug trade.
Yeah.
So now it has, this fentanyl is attacking the majority, and now they're ready to go to war. And when they should have been going to war in the 60s when they started bringing that opium over here from Vietnam.
So, but I guess I'm kind of confused in your take. You're saying because we didn't do anything back then, it shouldn't be done now?
No, but I'm just saying that it's right now. It's, you know, my point was you're ready to move the needle now, but you weren't ready to move the needle back then.
Hey, all right. Let me tell you. I was born in 1988, Matt. So I mean, you know,
65.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to do with that. So I wasn't even around. I was negative years in the 80s. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a massive issue, right? It needs to be dealt with. So I don't understand why we would go in the past and say, well, it wasn't done back then. And I feel like you're playing the race card because of crack in the black communities. And we can have a longer discussion about that on a different day. But are you saying that because it's white people dying now that it's a bigger issue?
I'm saying that only white people can fix the problem, and they don't want to fix the problem because they're getting paid for it.
Who's getting paid for it?
The government. You don't think the government doesn't do anything for free. So they don't do anything for free. So whatever problems that you want to fix, somebody's going to be losing money on the back end.
Okay, so you support Donald Trump saying that there should be a death penalty for fentanyl dealers, and you support Donald Trump saying that we should designate the cartels as terrorist organizations?
Okay.
Do you? No, just real talk. Like, do you support?
Let me be very clear.
Real quick though. Just.
This has nothing to do with.
I'll give you your airtime, but I want an answer on. Do you support Donald Trump's position that we should give the death penalty to fentanyl dealers and that we should designate cartels as terrorist organizations. Do you support that? Yes or no?
Okay. So I support that take. I do not support anything that Donald Trump has to offer.
Well, the flip side, what Kamala Harris is offering is wide open borders and that fentanyl pouring in, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I really can't tell you where the fentanyl is really coming in because I'm on the phone and I can't. I can tell you off the air, but this is a place where it's in plain sight. Let's put it that way.
It's being manufactured. It's being manufactured in Mexico and then shipped up into the United States.
I know it's. Well, you want to talk off the air? I can help you out, but I can tell you exactly, and you see it.
Hey, I'm so glad that you have secret answers that you can't share with the public, Matt.
I can't. I just can't. You just have to, take my word for it. But I
okay, Matt.
But anyway,
Matt.
The point is,
Matt. What do you want? What do you want from me, man? Like
the point.
You agree with Donald Trump's policy that fentanyl dealers should be put to death, and you agree with Donald Trump's policy that cartels should be designated as terrorist organizations. But you're still going to end up voting for Harris, who likes wide open borders and millions upon millions of people pouring into this country and pounds upon pounds, tons upon tons of fentanyl coming in. Like that's who you're going to vote for.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Sometimes when you run a country, you run a certain way, and if it's not working, right, you do have to govern the American people. So
do you think the country is working the way it's currently doing? Like the way we currently are running things, do you think it's working?
In some situations, yes.
Okay.
In some situations.
Overall, give me a paint with a broad brush. Overall, do you think the country is moving in the right direction?
Overall.
You think overall, that's your answer? Overall, we're working in the right direction?
Overall, yes.
Man, I got oceanfront property for you in Arizona, Matt.
No, it's because we're better than, however you might say it, we're still better than any other country out there.
Better how? Better how?
How?
Better how? We don't have a better border. We don't have better education. Our military's gone woke. Like what? Better how, Matt? Better how?
Okay, first of all, these are self-inflicted program. We could stop the border, right? We could stop that. Don't have any aid, and they wouldn't come.
Okay, who's giving them the aid, Matt? The person that you just said you would vote for.
And guess what? Are you kidding me? Hold on a second. Your Republicans are also voting on this money spend. They're voting.
Matt.
People are voting against our interest.
Matt,
it's not Democrats.
Matt, give me
as a whole.
Give me an example of what you think is going in the right direction for this country. You said overall, so I'm assuming that you have several examples of things that you think are moving in the right direction. Can you give me a specific example of what is moving in the right direction for our country?
Good question. I have to think about that.
You said overall, Matt. Why do you need to think about it? If you think the country overall is moving in the right direction and you can't give me one specific example, then I think that you're wrong. And I think that you understand you're wrong, but you're
because I think that whatever I say, that you'll use the current situations or the current issues of the day to debunk that, and I would have to agree.
You're worried that if you gave me an example, I could debunk it and you would agree.
Okay, first of all, technology. Technology is number one.
Okay.
Technology, right?
So you like free market capitalism?
Sometimes it just depends. Remember, it's for the people, by the people. You have to. You have to govern all. You have to tweak things. If it's not working for everybody, then you have to make it work.
What's working for everybody, Matt? One thing.
One thing? Well,
from the government, from the Biden-Harris administration, give me one thing that's working for everybody.
Well, the inflation is coming down. I just paid $2.29 for gas.
It was at 2% when Trump gave it over to them. 2%. It went up to 9%.
Then it came back down. It came back down just like in 29 in the crash. Everything hit rock bottom. It came back up. Just like in 2008. It came back up. You're going to have this. But the world's not going to end.
But people can't afford groceries, Matt. People can't afford rent.
Okay, but again, those groceries and those rents, those people that are selling those goods and services are making record profits.
Price gouging. I knew you were going to go to price gouging. I love it. All right, appreciate it. Hey, Matt, I'm up against it, and I'm running out of time. You know, I love you. Call back anytime. Let's go to Sharon in Fayetteville. Sharon, you're next on Super Talk. What's up?
What's up?
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm wonderful. Ever since Israel did their game with the beepers, I'm just ecstatic. But I didn't hear all his conversation because I was dialing. And then I was without hearing you for a little bit. But I like that guy. And I think he had a lot of common sense. Going back to the drug issue, I'm 77 years old. And I was a product of the 60s.
Okay.
Every day I could get hash, cocaine, iStick, you name it.
Okay. Did any of it kill you because it was laced with fentanyl, Sharon?
No, because I grew out of it and I got some common sense. Okay?
No. But there are kids out there that are trying marijuana for the first time and the joint's laced with fentanyl and then they're dying. There are babies out there. There are babies out there.
So what's your argument?
Ma'am, there are babies out there that are crawling around on the floor at an Airbnb, coming into contact with fentanyl, and the baby's dying.
And what's your argument? That gentleman on the phone. My
argument, miss, if you will. My argument is that we should designate cartels as terrorist organizations, go on offense against them, and that we should have the death penalty for fentanyl dealers. That's my argument.
All right. And I can't disagree with you. I'm a little uncertain about the death penalty. I haven't tossed that around long enough. But he did say they should have stopped it a long time ago. And like I told the man who answered the phone, I said, when you got something trickling, the faucet's trickling, and then the water's running a little further, a little harder and harder, that faucet is wide open now.
And who opened the faucet? Sharon, who opened the faucet?
I think the government.
Who's running the government?
Without a doubt.
Who's running the government?
Our government.
Who's running the government?
Right.
Who's running the government right now? Hey, Sharon.
Yeah. You're not letting me talk.
I'm trying to. I'm trying.
You asked me questions.
Yes.
And I tried to answer them, and you stopped me.
That's how conversations work. Who's running the government right now? Who's in power? Democrats or Republicans?
Democrats, but we're hopefully going to change that.
Which government put out 93 executive orders to dismantle the Trump-era policies? Was it Democrats or was it Republicans?
Well, I'm sorry. What was that question?
Which government, Democrats or Republicans, put out 93 executive orders to dismantle the Trump-era border policies?
Of course, the Democrats.
Who are you voting for in this election, Sharon?
Trump.
So I guess I'm just confused on your take. You seem like you're against what I'm saying, but you're going to vote for Trump? And you think Matt makes sense?
I'm not against what you're saying. I'm pro what that man was saying with what I heard from him.
And
I do believe the government is There are very rich people in this country because they're letting the drugs come through. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And he was right when he said, we don't do anything here unless we're making some money off of it. And he's right. Now, I know down at the border, you have people guarding that border that is letting people in. They're getting kickback.
Okay, I'm very confused on where you're at politically. I still don't understand what that has to do with the nature of death penalty for fentanyl dealers and designating the cartels as terrorist organizations and going on offense against them like Donald Trump has said he wants to do.
And I agree with Trump, except, like I said, I'm tossing around the death penalty. Because, see, China did that. Yes. And they got rid of all the drugs. But look at China. There are people coming over into this country from China, and they never knew about Tiananmen Square.
Okay, fair enough, Sharon. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Call back anytime. It's 11:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I went way late. I'm not sure if I'm going to have time for a cross with Murphy. Mason is shaking his head in disappointment. I apologize for that. But I will be back. Me and Murphy will have a cross today because I'm filling in for Brian Wilson on the drive. So Murphy's up next. It's 11:54 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.